All right, so I'm here with my sister Kelley, and we're going to be discussing some really big news. Maybe the biggest news that we've ever had to tell.
I know.
Would you say this is the biggest?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I feel like our championships and things like that are pretty big, but this is pretty big.
All right, well, we've never really sat down to have the conversation, but we are today. Junior Motorsports is fielding a Daytona 500 entry for the very first time. And there's a lot of details we'll get into around that, but let's tell everybody, I guess, how this happened.
Yeah, so an opportunity came knocking, which was Traveler's Whiskey, which is Chris Stapleton, who's a part owner of that venture. And they wanted, I'm sure fans have noticed they've done some things around the races, advertising and whatnot.
Yep.
And so they wanted to make a pretty big splash and wanted to be in the Daytona 500. And we were lucky enough to give them an awesome plan on partnering with Junior Motorsports. And here we are, ready to make it happen.
This was a long process.
It was.
One that I watched from my perspective, not being in the office every single day from 9 to 5, seeing all of the details and the back and forth and conversation with Travelers. But Traveler Whiskey and Chris is very involved. He's been involved in design of the paint scheme, the branding, and all of the things you would hope in terms of a partner in engagement and curiosity, and he's checking all those boxes. So that's been really one of the nice things about this.
That reminds me, honestly, a lot about the same way that you get involved in terms of those things. And I was really surprised too that obviously you have a similar situation with High Rock, and your vodka.
That's right.
And so I was just really glad that it all came together. The High Rock folks were supportive of us. Travelers was supportive of the fact that we're in the same situation. So there was really, there's really a lot of synergies and understanding of the same concept of what they're trying to accomplish and what you guys have trying to accomplish. So, and it's so exciting too to have Justin as the driver.
Well,
That's
I
really
hadn't
cool.
mentioned that yet. So we are going to have Justin Allgaier drive the car. And when we sat down and really thought about it, one of the things that I appreciate about Justin is not only is he fast, and not only has he helped us have a lot of success here at Junior Motorsports, but his professionalism off the racetrack with our partners, he does a great job with his crew, engaging with his team, keeps a pretty solid attitude outside the car and inside the car. And so if you're going to go to the Daytona 500, it's like, in my mind, I have no idea. You have no idea whether we'll ever do this again, right? We don't know. You don't know. But this is really, we have no other plans to ever enter another event this year at least, right? So we're going to the Daytona 500. You want a driver, obviously, that can go out and do a good job, and he's very capable. But I think in our situation, it's never been more paramount or more important that the job the driver does outside the car has to be done well, because this is a one-shot for Traveler, right? They need a great experience. They need to come away from this going, they're not looking at just performance on the racetrack, right?
Right, exactly.
They need a lot of things to happen. And there are a lot of things they want to accomplish that won't happen on the racetrack in this whole process. Justin is a guy that can really help us get to that mark and meet those targets for them. And so it wasn't as simple as, hey, who do we think can win the Daytona 500?
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of people. I know, I know you remember this. We really exhausted a list, which Justin was part of the list, and we kept coming back to what you just explained. We kept coming back to the fact that we need to perform, no doubt about it. And we want to make the race and all those things, but we need this to be successful all the way around. And like you said, Justin is just somebody that we know we can count on him, and that was very important that Junior Motorsports knew we could count on, the driver to be as good as he is outside the car for Travelers. So, super, super exciting. I know one of the things, too, is, a lot of people ask, why car number 40?
Oh, yeah.
So, because that's not really something that is doesn't really have a semblance to our team or, and usually the way you pick numbers and all those kinds of things, we usually have some sort of reasoning behind it,
Yeah, well, it's a connection to the blend number 40 that Travelers utilizes in every bottle. So, much like, kind of like High Rock is 88 proof, right? So there's a connection to the product, and that was, I'll be honest with you, I was indifferent. I really, and I think in a lot of scenarios, I would have been very matter of fact or opinionated, I guess, about a specific number.
Yeah, I expected that from you.
But we're diving, but I mean, this is a moment where we're kind of diving into a very limited pool of opportunity in terms of what number you can run. I mean, this is the Cup Series. They're all pretty much
being utilized.
They're all spoken for.
Yeah.
So, and I think too, that it's Justin and him coming off of the championship and this feeling like a bit of still of an extended celebration of that.
Yes.
It really, and it's Travelers' first experience and allowing them to have a little skin in the game on terms of they were involved. They were very, they were very particular about the design of the car, and we all compromised a bit. And so them having this number that they identify with is I think fair. It was
an important
fair
piece.
And important. Yeah. So I'll be honest. I am not nervous. I'm sure there'll be some moments where there's.
I know. I'm really curious about that from your perspective because, recently in the past couple of weeks, as we've waited to be able to announce this, I've just you've seen other open cars that are going to be on the docket, obviously. And
hey, I almost feel like that we can't go down. We're starting at the bottom.
And we're not expected. I think that's another part of it is like there's not an expectation.
There's zero expectation
placed on us.
We are at the bottom, and only way forward is the only way we can go is up. And so, and two, I believe, like I personally hope that this is the start of more opportunities for us to compete at the Cup level. And should it be a situation where it's very challenging, it would only motivate us to continue to go back and because that's how we work, right? When we don't entirely succeed at something, we retool and try again.
We won't be satisfied.
We
for
don't
sure.
fail, right? We don't love to walk away from something without trying to succeed at it. And I love another thing that you've always said: we race. When we and what I mean by that is as life has changed. Retiring from full-time Cup racing and becoming a dad, and this whole our own personal interests have changed. One thing that doesn't is we race.
Yeah, we're a motorsports family, legacy team. That's
till the
end,
we do. Right, yeah, and it will continue beyond me and beyond you, and so that's one thing. I guess that's one of the motto for me on this is what we do.
Natural for us.
And it has not been easy trying to find this opportunity for us to enter. We are, and there's a lot of key elements that are creating this possibility for us that we're thankful for. But I wanted to say, let's talk about this on a very personal level between you and me. I've reached out to the crew chief, right, and I've said, hey. What's the status? He's like, well, I'm already building the chassis. I'm picking out the body panels. We're already starting to. I'm like, all right, I want to come to see that. I want to see this process come together, right? And I've told Amy, I said, if I go to Daytona, I'd usually just show up for the day of the Xfinity race and watch our guys run and compete and then go home. I said, hey, I want to be there as soon as the car gets pushed out on pit road. I want to be there in the garage when they're rolling it out of the hauler. I want to see it.
Yeah, I think
all of these things.
Yeah, I want to experience, and you've said this from day one. You're like, no, we're going to be down there. You and I are going to be standing together.
I told Amy,
and taking every moment.
I know,
and taking every moment of that experience.
I was prepping Amy. I was like, you understand? Like, I'm going to want to see all of the things, right?
Yeah.
And it'll be very proud, and I want that for you too, and I want to do those things with you, and because this is something that me and you have thought about and talked about for years, over a couple decades, and I want us to both be a witness to it, together. So that should be a ton of fun. I'm really looking forward to that, regardless of the end result.
Yeah, me too.
It's just one of the it's a cog in the big wheel of all the things we've done around motorsports, but it's one I definitely can't wait to experience together.
Yeah, the result for me will just kind of be like icing on the cake, because it just takes so much to put it together, from start to finish. Like you said, the initial phone calls with Travelers and putting together our plan, and, going through the process of paint schemes, and then going through the process of really how we can make this happen. And I think we have to give a nod to Hendrick Motorsports, because obviously Rick was one of the first phone calls of like, Mr. Hendrick, is this something that you think we can pull off?
Yes.
And he's like, of course, I'll advise and assist on however you guys need, because I also felt, and we've talked about this as it relates to cup racing, because we've had a lot of opportunities to have conversation around cup racing with people, but it's important to us that it be ours, that we had a hand in it. Like you said, you want to go see the prep of the car. You want to have a hand in. We don't want to just attach our name to something. We really want it to be part of our fabric, part of our DNA, to have our hand in everything. So that this opportunity is like that. And I'm excited about that. But, kind of giving a nod to Hendrick is important, because we had to ask all the stupid questions. Where do we buy parts? What do we do? What does this look like? And so that's been a process too. And their team has just graciously jumped in and been available as they usually are.
As they always are.
As they always are. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait for, I know, our announcement is out, and we've got a few more weeks before we actually see ourselves in Florida down at the racetrack. But there's a lot of prep and a lot of things that have to happen, not only just with the race car and the team and pit crew and driver, and there's a ton of things that got to get going. But there's more happening, around the partnership, the sponsorship, making sure that Traveler has a great experience, and that everything, because there's things. Let's hear a little bit. I think about like what are the things that happen outside of the garage, away from the car.
Yeah.
In a deal like this, you got a one race sponsor, Daytona 500. You understand the marketing and advertising and activation on site at the racetrack. What all does that look like?
Yeah, that's kind of part of it. You mentioned earlier the performance part is not as big as the marketing part, and that's because obviously this is a one-time. And I don't know if it'll be their only one time, but this is the first time that they're going to have a sponsorship opportunity with the car, and they want to see good results, and they were all about impressions and the marketing plan and the PR plan, and we had to get very detailed into that to even get the opportunity to say this is how we think our team can go to work. These are the assets around Junior Motorsports, around you, around me, and what they can look like. And so one of the interesting things that just probably the average fan doesn't think about that we've had to juggle is point of sale stuff in the stores, that sell product like High Rock and Travelers, and the timing of all that around the announcement and when that stuff goes to the stores, because they had to ship that material and put everything together, websites, all the POS, point of sale materials and stuff that will go into the stores, and then hope that like store managers and people like that just leave it in the back room until we announce the whole program, and it's like, oh gosh, please let this work like we hope it's going to work. But you got to be prepared.
Yeah, there was a website there was a website with
a quick moment.
There was a moment a couple days ago, where a website went live with a sweepstakes or some part component of this whole marketing plan with the car and Justin.
Yeah.
And Chris Stapleton, and I know that our team was like, oh no, get that back behind closed doors.
We were like, ah.
And I sit there and looked on the internet all day long, waiting for the one person that saw it, find it, screenshotted it, and was like, hey, what's this?
I know.
Hey, y'all.
Praise that
and it didn't happen.
Wasn't happening. But yeah, there is that's the kind of thing, like when you talk about how it all comes together, is just, and the input that Chris and his team had, just putting it all together. It's been a process, and just a lot of those little details that go behind the scenes. So I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Makes me feel so good, that the way you're looking at it in terms of our company and doing this, and that's our family background and everything, and our families, LW, Amy, our kids, like, it's a big deal. I mean, my kids are older, obviously. They asked to go to the racetrack, unlike yours, where you just bring them along, let's go. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I want to be there. And it's just a really cool opportunity. So
I agree.
Might be once in a lifetime. Who knows? You just never know. We didn't know about this opportunity would come to the table, so here we are.
Yep. Looking forward to
Very
it.
excited.
So that number 40 Travel Whiskey Chevrolet will be out on the racetrack in Daytona. Hope everybody will tune in or come down there and celebrate this with us and enjoy Junior Motorsports' initial entry in the Cup level, and wish us the best of luck. We're going to have some fun with it.